Hello and welcome to week 18, show week. So, I'm going to, Monday we didn't have a run. So on Monday we done a run of the Bluecast where we had the lighting and everything sorted. And it went perfectly. Like, no mistakes. The only thing I would have to complain about is under the lights, that costume is so much more hotter. But I took it easy, like usual, because I didn't want to hurt myself before the show. But yeah, when it comes to talking about the runs, I'm going to talk about the green cast first, then I'll talk about the blue one because I'm going to take forever talking about the blue cast. So, green cast. They had a show Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. The show on Wednesday, it went amazingly. There was plenty of room for people to like dance, stretch, you name it. We had enough room. And I saw Marcel do things that he's never done before. Like, it added so much more to the character. Like, when he was, after introducing the Tin Man, it would go on to the lion's turn, and Marcel would, like, crawl out, and he actually looked, like, right as he was doing that, as, like, an actual scary lion. I was out there like, oh, please, like, stay away. So, they took that show and improved it a million times. The only thing was that they were really quiet. If maybe the music wasn't as loud, they might have been heard, but at that point you wouldn't have had the music. So ultimately, Wednesday was a really good run. On Thursday afternoon, we got to the school to perform, and the floor was wet. Yeah, the floor was wet, and there wasn't really much space. Like, I know when it came to the monkeys coming on, we wasn't able to walk in like a circle. It literally got to a point where Tin Man, Lion, Dorothy, Scarecrow were walking here. We walked there and then just chased them. But we made it work, and yet again, another amazing run. I think there was only like one mistake where Scarecrow said, in the Lion song, Scarecrow turned around and was like, a heart. Then Tin Man turned around and was like, that's my line, a heart. But it was very small, minor mistakes that I don't think the kids would have really paid attention to. So it went amazingly. Like, amazing. Loved it. On Friday, Marcel, okay, I could have strangled him, because it got to when we was meant to enter the school, and he wasn't here. So I was sat there with Lynn and Cornet, and I was like, okay, I know you guys have like never worked with me before. Like, no, I lied. Cornet has, Lynn hasn't. But we was talking about like different ways that we could do certain things, because I know Marcel jumps on Cornet's back during the I do believe in spooks, as well as they take him off stage like roughly. So we talked through everything, and we was getting called into the school, and I was like, okay, well, this is happening, I'm the lion. I thought I was done with it. And then Marcel turned up. I was so happy. Never been happier in my life, because Thursday morning, I after we was done with that show, I was like, I'm never the lion again. I don't have to bark. I'm over the moon. But then when I was getting concerned about Marcel turning up, yeah. Oh, and the show on Friday, the backdrop fell off, and I thought I would be kind of sneaky with it. So we all got into positions for Merry-Old-Land of Oz, and I started off with the dance, but then when we had to do the step together, step back, and then swap positions with your partner, I thought, well, if Kayla just walks around me, we had enough spacing for it. If Kayla walked around me, I could turn around, put up the staging real quick, and then just turn to her. And it would have been flawless, which it was. Like, I actually saw the recording. It was so smooth. I was so proud of myself. But yeah, then towards the end, when we had to do the second Merry-Old-Land of Oz, one of the clips fell out. As well as the whole way through that show, I've been sat there like secretly adjusting like the backdrops because Sarah mentioned that they were like flapping, and so yeah, I won't lie, with me having to like during that run I had to solve like one of the clips on the bottom because they were falling off, and so I'm like leaning down to do it and I fell onto my knee. Needless to say, after that run I was in pain, but that was the final run. I was over the moon. I could say goodbye to Wizard of Oz forever. Goodbye. But now talking about the Blue cast. So the Tuesday performance was our best and worst run we have ever done. And the main reason I say worst isn't because like the acting was amazing, but what I'm talking about is going in order. I was introduced as the lion. I'm nailing my lines. I'm like, look at the circles under my eyes, I haven't slept in weeks. Then Tin Man forgets his line. We just stood there for like a solid like what, like minute or so. Yeah, we were stood there for like a solid minute just staring at each other, and I'm like, come on, say your line, please. Because like I said previously, one of my plans was to cover my face if one of the lines was missed, and thankfully I kept my word, I remembered it. And Charlie, bless his heart, he could tell something was up, so he just came in with one of his lines, and we had to skip the whole, why don't you try counting sheep? Because I'm afraid of them. The line that I've been forgetting, we had to skip. So ultimately, I'm happy about not having to say that line, but also sad because, Raven, do you mind? Okay. Ultimately, over the moon. Then we get to we had a barn, and then when you flipped it, it was like a picture of the yellow brick road and the rainbow. That fell over. There was also situations of the Wicked Witch's hat falling off constantly, and she fell over. So there was a lot that went wrong. Now, the one thing in that show that I really want to talk about is I got dropped. There's a scene where they carry me off stage. We have done it like what, like 20, 30 times, and it has gone swimmingly. I even done it with Cornet, who was not even briefed about what he was meant to do, and it went perfectly. Then show day, the one time you'd think you'd nail it, went wrong. And when I watched the recording, it was both of their faults. Of course, with Charlie, it's not really as easy because he has to kind of like look and wait for him to be in position, then go down to grab my legs, which proves to be a slow transition into the next scene. But with Jeremiah, one thing I saw in the recording is as soon as I'm done with my line, he swaps the hand that he's got his axe on, puts it under his armpit. He's gone to do, like, put his arms onto me to hook him, and he's dropping the axe. Charlie, when I spoke to him, he saw one of the arms there. So he assumed, like, yeah, it's good to go. So he went down to pick me up, and next thing I know, I'm on the floor. I do want to talk about my whole thought process throughout that being dropped thing. So I was saying my lines, and this was like the first time Jeremiah was actually behind me for that scene. So I was like, sweet, okay, this is gonna go well. I finished my line. I'm like, okay, this is going perfectly. Yes, like, I'm over the moon. Oh, I feel an arm. Okay, great. Let's pick me up. Let's go. Oh, why am I falling? Why am I falling? Okay, I'm on the floor now. And Charlie's still got my legs. Oh, okay. He's put my legs down. Okay. He's offering me a hand. Oh, that's sweet of him. If only I could tell him that my knee's in pain, and him, like, pulling me up is not gonna work. But then Jeremiah, I then felt like a pinch under my armpits because he didn't quite have me the way he usually has. And Charlie saw that he actually had me and then grabbed my legs and they took me off stage. And the whole time after that, because thankfully I had a hot good maybe like 2 or 3 minutes where I was able to sit down, I was sat there like prodding my knee and making sure it was still in the right position. I was then also trying to push away any of the adrenaline that was going to hit me, because as soon as the adrenaline hits me, I'm screwed. I'm not remembering a thing. Me hablo no español. But as soon as I sat down, I looked over at the audience to see if like someone had a camera out. But I saw Alex sat front row, and she looked at me and she was like, she looked horrified. But she made sure to look at me and she was like, are you okay? And I'm like, yeah. And whilst I'm sat there listening to Somewhere of the Rainbow, you know, Dorothy like is captured and she's singing it very emotionally, I'm like, okay, don't cry, I'm okay, I think. I'm in one piece. And we go on, and the thing is done, and it gets to where me, Scarecrow and Tin Man have to stand up and get back in, and I'm like, okay, I have no clue if I've actually hurt myself. If I stand up and I fall on this floor, I'm gonna look like an idiot. Do I, Marcel, do you want to step in? But thankfully, I stood up and I was like, okay, I am in pain, but I'm able to push through it. And thankfully, from rehearsals where I've been in pain previously, it helped me prepare for that. And we finished the whole melting the Wicked Witch, and we got into Ding Dong, Witch is Dead. And Maria looked at me and she could tell something was up. And so we came up with the solution of, instead of us doing the box step around each other, I walked around her, because 1, I would have taken it slow because my knee's killing me. 2, because of her foot, she can't really do it smoothly either. So with me just walking around her, it was like the next best thing we could do. And I love Maria for thinking on her feet like that. And it was so sweet. I went to like do the box step, I took a step back and I see her hand behind her going, go. And I'm like, okay, I get what you mean. And so I walked around her and we finished up and we walked out for the bows, and I bowed, and the whole time I'm just sat there trying not to cry. Oh no, one thing I do want to talk about is me and Charlie. I did a little bit of like character development, and to be quite honest with you, I don't even know if anyone noticed what we was doing. Hopefully. But every now and then Charlie would like smack me on my head, and the main reason Charlie does that, number one, it's in like very funny areas, like when I fall asleep on him, he would shake me, bang me on my head, try and wake me up. Also, whenever I'm overreacting about spooks, he's like, calm down. And then right towards the end, he grabs my arm and wipes his tears with his arm, or my arm. And then I look at him, I smack him on the head, he smacks me back. And so we were trying to add a bit of character development. I haven't been told how that was portrayed, but at the end, when I smacked him and he smacked me, I heard laughs. And I can only assume that was at me and Charlie. On Thursday, we had the second run for the Bluecast, and I'm going to be honest with you, I completely bottled out of the lift. Like, I was sat there beforehand, like, stressing, feeling ill. Like, I hadn't slept the day before because I was having panic attacks about it. But I really did not want to be dropped again, because with how like fragile my knee was feeling after the first time, if it would have happened again, I feel like it would have been worse. Thankfully, and Sarah, I love you for this, you turned around and was just like, well, if you're really concerned about it, scrap it. She put my comfort over anything. And why am I getting emotional? It really like made me comfortable and more relaxed for that show, because I didn't feel like I was doing anything that would have severely hurt me. And to have tutors that are able to listen to me and support me the way I need to is amazing. Everything went smoothly with the second run, which I'm so happy about, because my dad was watching and I did not want to mess up in front of him. He knows how badly I've like struggled with this role, so for him to come and it went perfectly apart from the lift was nice. It was nice. And I afterwards was so happy to never have to bark again, and to work with the people who I've worked with this performance. It was way better than last year, I must admit. So the only thing I would really take out of this week is, with being dropped on Tuesday, it showed me that I'm able to have a mistake happen and I'm not necessarily broken. I'm able to maybe take a few pain meds and get on with it. And I'm hoping moving forward that I'm able to remember that and put myself into situations that I might looked at previously as being way too dangerous, and look at it now and being like, yeah, it's put me out my comfort zone, but I'm not necessarily going to break over it. So thank you, Sarah, thank you, Alex, and thank you to all the amazing classmates that I've had. You guys have supported me throughout all of it.